Good afternoon, good evening, good metal. My name's Coop and welcome to the Spoken Metal Show. This is episode 18, so we're kind of getting to double figures now, which is something. I just wanted to kind of keep doing this and keep doing these podcasts to maybe get to 20, 25, 50, 100, something like that. It's quite difficult sometimes. Obviously, getting the time to do it is quite challenging. Last week or so, I've been out filming and doing some bits and pieces with that, so it took up a lot of my time. And sounds like I'm just coming on with a cold now, so I'm trying to get some of these podcasts out the way now and get them done before my voice completely deteriorates into something worse than my normal voice. What I thought I would do with this episode was something a little bit different, a little bit sort of interesting. I used to review music, and I was one of those horrible guys that was like, if this sucks, that sucks, didn't really do an awful lot of nice stuff, and I made a conscious decision when I was reviewing to only review and say good things about stuff for the most part, and not to just, there's too many people out there kicking stuff around and being all negative. So what I thought I'd do is review a new album by not a new artist, but a new album by an artist I'm particularly fond of, in this case Judas Priest. Just before I want to do that, I just want to send out a bit of love to my good friend Sonny Mayo of Snot Amen, Head P7, Dust and Ugly Kid Joe, who's having some pretty difficult sort of health issues. He's had several heart attacks and some bits and pieces there, and now has launched a GoFundMe campaign to fund, obviously the health system in America isn't particularly great, so he's having to fund some of his own kind of bits and pieces to help him get better there. He has a GoFundMe page at www.gofundme.com/help heal Sonny's heart. I believe it may, at time of recording this, is actually very close or just gone over its initial target, which is absolutely fantastic. Thinking about you, Sonny, I'm sure everything will work out well. You've got a wealth of support around you. A lot of people love you. A lot of people think a lot of you, including me. So get well soon there, Sonny. Thank you for that. Okay, so what I wanted to do was do a live review, and what I mean by that is I listen to the album, not in full, one song at a time, and then kind of give my almost immediate feedback. No time to kind of think up nice funny sound bites or whatever, or look stuff up online or whatever it may be, and just give you what I felt right there and then. The album came out on Friday. I chose to, no sort of using influence and trying to get a contact an editor and get a copy early and all that mess around. I got it a day after it was released. I ordered it through Amazon, just because I wanted to do the whole thing to, none of that illegal downloading and stuff like that. That obviously that's not the way forward at all. I wanted to get it, buy it, just like a fan, because that's what I am, and listen to it, and be excited for it without hearing anything before. I tried to not listen to anything that came out before it. Any of the stuff that was they showed sneak peeks and stuff like that. I wanted to go completely sort of fresh and into this. So I bought the CD, the limited edition CD one. I think I'll probably get the LP as well, the vinyl, because it's got this fantastic blue sort of splash vinyl, which is absolutely incredible. So yeah, it's Judas Priest's 18th studio album. This is I believe studio album, Firepower, which is the album after Redeemer of Souls. I really liked Redeemer of Souls. I thought it was a real nice move forward. Not that they needed to move forward, but it was a real nice sort of changing of the DNA of the Priest. So this album I was really looking forward to, because I felt that everything was kind of coming into place. Richie joining the band was finally sort of really getting his game together about where he was and what his sound was within the band. And then I heard that Tom Allen was on board, and I just freaked out, being a Judas Priest fan. He's obviously connected with some of the biggest albums of all time that they've done, and if there's anybody that understands Priest sound, it's Tom. 100%. This guy understands it, and it would mean that they would be extremely comfortable working with him as well. And then Andy Sneap gets thrown in the mix, and like for me, he's the You know, he's the metal producer du jour. He's done some of the great albums. He plays as well. He's a guitar player, so I knew he'd understand the guitar side of it. You know, he's a performing artist as well with Hell and what have you. So I got really excited by the prospect of those two guys really kind of you know, being a major factor in the Priest sound. So I knew that it'd be in good hands. So initial reactions to the cover of the album is absolutely superb. It's another one of those kind of Defenders of the Faith, Scream for Vengeance Turbo kind of things. But what Claudio Bergamin, that's what we'll say. Claudio Bergamin. Apologies, Claudio, I got that wrong. His cover artwork is exactly what you'd expect to take those images and bring them into a modern age. It's kind of almost 3D. It has this wonderful character again, and it just looks absolutely superb. It fits in completely with the Priest aesthetic, completely. Pardon me. And so, you know, before we kind of dive in, there's 14 tracks to go through, which is fantastic. 14 tracks. It's just a band prolific as always, you know. I thought that the tagline on the back of the CD is pretty interesting. It just goes to show kind of what the attitude is of Priest, of like, you know, this is all his life for them. The tagline is forged by conflagration of molten metal fury and hellion, Metallian, a warrior for justice and salvation, ultimate god of firepower, Titanicus. I am assuming Titanicus is the character at the front. We shall know when we listen to the album. We'll get to it. And you just think that's a fucking mission statement right there, isn't it? That's a real fucking, you know, we're not messing around here. This is metal made by men, you know, forged by men. This you know, we're really not messing at all here. And I just think that's a really good starting point. They're not messing around here. Here we go. We're going to get straight into it. So I just want to say as well, like, obviously a lot of people are like, well, you know, Coop, you really like Judas Priest, you're a huge fan, you know, you're going to be terribly biased. Well, that actually, the door swings both ways for that. So yes, I'm biased because I love the band, I've grown up with the band, and, you know, huge influence in why I listen to metal, and that's, you know, that's a given that I'm gonna lap up whatever they do. But the other side of that coin is if it's not good, the disappointment's even tenfold. You know, there's a song or whatever doesn't work or it's not very good, I'll call it. You know, I'll call it out. You know, but it's even more. I'll be even more looking for that. I've got huge high expectations for everything that they do, you know. And then obviously it was coming to light that you know, Glenn Tipton was suffering with Parkinson's, and so, you know, that was tough as well. So, you know, this guy's gone into the studio, and clearly it's very difficult for him to play. He's to give up touring, and now only works at a studio level. That must be incredibly difficult, and you just know that they've thrown everything at this album. You know, KK has gone now, and Richie's coming in. And they're trying to write Judas Priest for modern metal audience. Have they done it? I don't know. Let's listen. So what I'm going to do is I'll listen to one track, come back to you and go, okay, this is what I think about it. Maybe about halfway through I'll tell you how I feel about the album so far, and at the end I'll try and sum it up to some degree. So it's kind of a live review of Judas Priest's Firepower. The first song, as you can imagine, I would predict, I haven't heard the song yet, but I would predict the first song's called Firepower. It's the title track, and that's old school. That's like, fuck you. The title track is the first song out there, and I'm guaranteeing it's gonna be straight fucking metal up your ass. It's gonna be straightforward. Away we go. Right out, yeah. I don't know, but I predict it was okay. First track is Firepower. That was the first song, Firepower. Shit, it fucking as expected. They just ran with the ball. It's straight away you're right in it. That firepower. It's just Rob's hasn't lost the beat in his voice. He's still got that venom, that laser. He's still got that sort of venom and that kind of You know, the sort of power in his voice. Yes, you know, I mean, Rob Halford's, 66 now? You know, he's never going to... Those absolute screams you're never going to get anymore. But he's got this kind of real sinister sort of evil edge to what he's doing. He really does fall in that pantheon with Dio and stuff, you know, and Lemmy and all this. Of just the character voices is just this incredible. And straight away you're off to the races with Firepower. It's that, you know, like Maiden have that gallop, that the famous Maiden gallop. Well, it's clearly Priest have that, like that. They have that kind of like palm muted riff thing going on. They just do that. It's like it really is like a machine. It's just like Scott giving it the full hit on the drums, and it's straight away you're in it. And you can hear Glenn's playing there's all these people saying, Glenn doesn't play a note. It's absolute fucking bollocks. It's very clear Glenn's on this. There's so much Priesty riff on there, like the Glenn stuff's on there. And Richie's really coming to the fore now. He kind of adopted the KK role, that kind of wild bar stuff and the kind of crazy sort of playing, and he's kind of adopted that and then moved his own thing. He has this wonderful soaring playing sort of thing that he has going, which is just absolutely superb, and it kind of works when they both do that dual sort of guitar work now in this, and it's just it feels like them just kind of like really sort of owning this and putting a little bit of as it should be for the title track, put a real sort of flag down. This is exactly what we're going to be playing. This is what you get, and this is what we do. It's modern metal with Priest style. And it's that whole thing right up to it's like it's straight. There's not an ounce of fat on this at all. It's right there, really an immediate. It's a great opener. That's a great opener. That'll probably end up in the set, as it should do, because it's a song on it. But that's a good. You could probably open with that. To be fair, and that's going to make it to the set almost certainly for a while now, because it's just straight up. It's clinical Priest. So that's a great opening, that right there. That's superb. So then we go on to track 2, Lightning Strike. Whoa! So Lightning Strike. So what's happened very clearly is that Tom Olam is backed up. You can imagine a scene. So Tom Olam has backed up this big fucking van. Yeah, Andy Sneap's waving him in. It's going beep, beep, beep. Andy Sneap's waving him in. He's like, come on, to me. And they've opened up the door, and Richie and Glenn have fucking just got all the riffs. Yeah, all of them. All yours, everybody else's. They've just got all the riffs, and they fucking started unloading them. As Scott's gone, yeah, bring it in, and they've just been pulling endless fucking strips of rips. Ian Hill's been going, come on, keep him coming. He's got like a hard hat on. They'll go, come on. I've just been backing all the fucking riffs onto this album by the looks of things. So you're getting about 3 or 4 sort of massive rips straight away, and you're getting all the guitars are really kicking off now. You've got a lot of the dual guitar stuff now. They're just absolutely firing here. They're absolutely chock with riffs and melodies on this one here. It seems to be as well taken by Rob's voice a little bit. Certainly some of the melodic line and how they're playing it. It seems to be there's an element of Screaming for Vengeance stuff on here. Dare I say even Point of Entry a little bit. But it's very clear that they're kind of sitting there, and there's also this lovely thread of maybe Painkiller in there, kind of sort of sitting in the background as well. See how that develops. But at the moment, this is the really, really strong 1-2 punch. Lightning Strike's probably my favourite song out the 2 so far, but it's very clear that it's a bring all the fucking riffs in, bring them all in, and just fucking unload them. We're 14 songs, and we're 2 songs in, and there's some fucking astounding playing on this. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm giving that look on my face when I listen to this as well. And that kind of wince that you do because it's that good, because you're like, oh fucking hell, that's fucking, it's just metal, like real personification. You know that classic thing where people say, oh, when they look up metal in the dictionary, there's a picture of this. Yeah, there's a picture of this album, but it's probably in a fucking book that also has this album on, in a library that is called the Judas Priest Library of Metal, and that book of fucking metal is in that library there. So yeah, let's keep moving through. Really enjoying this so far. So we're on to the next song, which is Evil Never Dies. There's very few people that say evil really well. One of them was Vincent Price and Christopher Lee, the Hammer guys, but also Rob Halford. No one says evil like Rob Halford. Evil never dies. Just this is slightly slower one, third track in, slightly slower. And it means that they can really dig in, especially with that opening riff. Like, they're really digging in now. And it can give them a little bit of chance now to go, okay, let's start seeing what we can do here. And they have, like, there's a sort of middle eight or a sort of middle section, very kind of similar to sort of Nightcrawler. In fact, there's lots of sort of stuff that feels Painkiller on it, but also feels kind of Ram It Down as well, when he talks about the devil and George and stuff, which kind of reminds me of some of the stuff off that. And this is it's got a great solo in this as well. Great solo, it's just great play, and everything sounds real together. This is where the production of like Sneap and Olam are coming into play here, where it just sounds really finished work, like something you're going to be listening to for a long time after this. And I just thought the third song, it might be my favourite so far now, which is what you want to add, Gav, for an album. Just constantly get, this is the best song, this is the best song. Evil Never Dies, just that's going to make that has to make that into the set. That is. That really does. It's a great song. I've had a look. I think the singles are Spectre, Traitor's Gate, and stuff. I think are on there, but I'm pretty sure this is going to make it into the set. I'm sure if we had a look at that, I think in a year's time you'll look and things like Firepower and probably Evil Never Dies will probably make it into the set fully. But now you can kind of see what they're going for here. We're getting a whistle stop tour of most of Priest's sound, going all the way from like I say, Scream for Vengeance, even Point of Entry a little bit, Ram It Down, certainly Painkiller, is all kind of here. It's all getting nodded at, it's all getting cut to adjustments. That's obviously probably subliminal. I don't think they've probably done that on purpose. They've just gone, let's just play some really good songs. We've got these whole chocolate riffs, and let's just play these, and that will be Priest by default. It's going to be Priest because he's just playing it, and the stuff that they enjoy playing. So the next song is Never the Heroes. Let's see how it keeps going here. So far, though, fabulous stuff. So Never the Heroes. That's just going to be. Sorry, Never the Heroes. Just going to be. That's Priest songwriting. Obviously, we always talk about riffs and things like that, and these big sort of guitar parts and what have you. But this is Judas Priest songwriting. Now, these are songs where you sing along. We haven't even heard the song before. You know what the next line's going to be, not because it's predictable, because it feels right, because they're writing stuff that is meant to be chanted anthemically, uniting, united, if you will. Everybody together. You can imagine this is going to go. You can imagine this being them playing some European festivals somewhere, and this just being sung by everybody. Just huge anthemic songs that they can write. Pure songwriting, as only Priests can do. A lot of it seems obvious. Some of the wording seems obvious, and that sounds like that might be a slant. It's not. It seems obvious because it seems right. It's just a great lyric line. Amazingly, no one's ever thought of putting together before, but that's the genius of Halford. Okay, so we're up to track 5 now, which is going to be Necromancer. So Necromancer, it kind of joins the pantheon of sort of really crazy, dark, evil characters that they talk about, like the Sentinel and Nightcrawler and that type of thing. And Necromancer is just basically joins those sort of things. Just this great sort of descriptive classic metal where they talk about like a character, like the Wizard or something like that. They talk about a character, and but that's what it is. It's just Judas Priest doing their version of like what the Wizard would be by Sabbath. It's like, so it's another one of those characters. It's very clear now. And some props again to Richie on this one. He's found where he belongs within the sound of Judas Priest. He's got some great playing on there, some great trading off stuff on there. So Richie, you need me to tell you, hundreds of millions of thousands of fans, whatever, I've accepted you, but you're doing an aces job there, boss. Just so you know, you're really fitting in, and you've really got your own thing going on with that now, which is absolutely fantastic. And Necromancer is just it's Priest personified, which is this album starting to be a pretty much absolutely no fat, all meat, all red meat version of Priest. It sounds just absolutely fantastic. Evil Never Dies, still probably one of my favourite songs. That and Firepower are really great. Now we're coming up to track 6, Children of the Sun. And then we got Children of the Sun. It's funny we talking about Sabbath, because that's kind of like it's got a lot of Sabbath stuff going on in there. You understand that they kind of pretty much, their Maiden, Sabbath kind of were all kind of at the forefront of this thing. So there's going to be a lot of that type of stuff where it kind of, you can hear the genetics going on there. And just one of those kind of Priest-songs that's like kind of real straightforward, real straight up, and just one of the things that you can do when you produce, especially metal music, is you can tend to overdo a lot of stuff, overdub everything, double take the guitar, triple take whatever, take the guitar, and you can kind of get in the way of what's going on. And it's just a real sort of nod to Sneap that he chose to kind of keep it all stripped and let the songs, so you get a lot of breathing, a lot of room in these songs, which makes them sound fucking massive. As we kind of go on to the next song, looking at the track listing, this next song is called Guardians. It's only 1 minute 6 long, and then it leads into Rising from the Ruins, which is 5 minutes 23. I'm going to say that it's going to be like some kind of an intro and then into a bigger song, so let's see how that plays out. But I think that that's pretty much how this one's going to work out. I hope so, because I like it when Priest go particularly epic. So let's hear Guardians and then go into Rising from the Ruins. Okay, as expected, it was a massive, huge intro in Guardians, and then moving in after like just a minute or so of introduction to Rising from Ruins. Some people were like maybe unhappy. I read about the orchestral stuff and all the piano and stuff. Shut the fuck up! It's amazing. It's like I mean previously as well in the previous songs. Particularly Children of the Sun, there was an element there of Before the Dawn and then Beyond the Realms of Death as well in there, which I thought was really nice to see, those kind of little sort of boxes getting ticked there. I thought that was really good. This is just huge Judas Priest epic songs. You know, they're easily comfortable, just absolutely throwing this out. It's 5 minutes long, but it doesn't seem like that. Why? Because it's fucking really good. It's just a really, really well crafted song, and everybody's firing on, which is really starting to feel like what the album is that everybody's comfortable in the skin of what they're doing, and they're really sort of now pushing what they can do with each member. Like Scott Travis is not getting anywhere near as much love as maybe he should do from me here, because his playing's brilliant, is absolutely brilliant. You can go from absolutely crazy, almost thrash drumming to this kind of big anthemic stuff, and really kind of, you know, everything in between just sits in the mix really, really perfectly. So far, loving this album. Certainly one of the best albums I've heard since maybe Painkiller. I'm enjoying it more than I did Redeemer of Souls, even though it's quite close to that. Certainly more than Nostradamus. That didn't really kind of gel with me, that album, too much, but it's still absolutely monolithic metal we're doing here. So we're over the halfway point. Are you still with us? Are you still listening? Do you still care? Hopefully some people are maybe listening along and going, what the fuck, Coop? You know nothing what you're talking about. This album's either good, bad, or indifferent, or whatever. If that's the case, you know, feel free to put your 2 pence worth in, and just, you know, go on the spokenmetalshow.com, the website, or the Spoken Metal Show on Facebook or Twitter, and air your views. Hashtag Judas Priest, you know, hashtag Spoken Metal Show, and you know, air your views. The whole point of this is that you have a view and you say, you know, I don't agree with that, I do agree with this. I've heard quite a lot of people going from everything from liking this album to not liking this album. Right now, I'm absolutely adoring this album, and this is the first pass through. Some of these songs will grow on me, and I'll learn like the sections to it and dig a little bit deeper. But so far, I'm really loving it. So we're on to the titles of these songs are just classic Priest. Here we go with Flamethrower. Okay, that was Flamethrower. One of the things that Priest do so well is bring the metal up into those faster tempos, not necessarily quite to thrash, but those faster tempos, and that's something they've kind of prided themselves on. Flamethrower is one of those things, the whole like that kind of like sped up sort of metal that's exactly what Priest do best. This is kind of like single territory, this, like, where they're just it's just a great rock and riff, really played well, just straight up. There's no messing around here. The whole album's very much like that. That there's no real kind of, there's experimentation, but to the point of where they're just kind of bringing in all the previous themes that they've explored and then kind of building on them. This is a very defining album for them. It feels like, because obviously Glenn, with his illness, KK no longer being in the band and kind of various lineup changes and what have you, it feels very much like they have to create this to prove that they can be Priest still, but they can also offer up some new things. Flamethrower does pretty much that. So far, still for me, Evil Never Dies, Lightning Strike Firepower, the opening three is still the really strong salvo. I know the next song is Spectre, which there's a video out for, so clearly they're putting that as being a single. Let's hear what that is. I envision some kind of Nightcrawler-y type of thing for this one here, but let's see what happens. Let's have a listen to the next one. Next track is number 10, Spectre. Like a thief in the night, standing in the oh yeah. So yeah, Spectre's excellent. It's like 70s Priest, man. It's like that, like sort of palm muted sort of note stuff that's going on, and it feels like kind of like almost like sort of Killer Machine Stained Class type of thing, sort of thing here. Like, it's just what Priest are doing with this album is simultaneously taking everything that they've done in their entire career, putting it all together, and then using that as something to move forward, as a pedestal to kind of look forward to kind of what they want to do. That's the trick of every modern band should be trying to do, right? It's just what a great song, and totally obvious why they're going to see why they're going to put this as maybe a single. They've done a video around it because it's got that sort of really distinct like line to it. It's classic, it's modern as well. What a fantastic line to tiptoe to do, and something that the young man struggles to do. So now we're up to track 11, Traitor's Gate. So we only got 4 songs left on this now, and so far I'm really enjoying the album. I think it's more than meeting my expectations, which are pretty fucking high, and it's kind of thrown some nice sort of like twists in there and some nice things. Some things seem like a welcome return, like a welcome friend. So really enjoying it. Now let's go on to the next track, which is Traitor's Gate. So track 11, Traitor's Gate there, Into the Liar, just amazing. Just it's now you come to sort of the end of the album, you kind of see what they were going for and kind of what they've achieved, and by all means always come up with your own sort of opinions, what you think about this. But yeah, for me, just a solid front to back solid record here. And Traitor's Gate being one of those songs, just 4 minutes plus of just classic Priest, just classic Priest. We're into the final sort of 3 songs now, and we're going in with No Surrender. So No Surrender, probably springboard into one of my favourite songs on the album so far. Like, it's got that whole kind of rock hard ride free type of vibe to it, that kind of almost and that leather rebel type of thing going on with it. That's a great fucking song. That's a great song, just real punchy and moving and getting to the point straight away. For me, that's up there with the Evil Never Dies and Lightning Strike. That's pretty much up there with that for me. That's a great song. That it just shows you like what 12 songs in, and there genuinely hasn't been a bad song. There's some songs better than others, sure, but there hasn't been a bad song. There's just every song's been right on the money. Like, yeah, amazing. Okay, so we're on to the last 2 songs now. The first of which is track 13, Lone Wolf. That was Lone Wolf there. I sound like a DJ, don't I? And that was Judas Priest there with Lone Wolf coming in at number 10 on the whatever. But yeah, it's Lone Wolf. It sounded like a bit like, remember 2x4 by Metallica, or maybe Metallica sounded like them. But it's obvious that the kind of, they love that swagger, that kind of whole swagger thing going on with that there. That's a really solid song. It's weird how it sits with the other songs there. It feels like, I don't know, it doesn't kind of feel like it's with them, but it does. It's an interesting one, Lone Wolf. I don't know, I don't see that coming up too many times in the set. I don't see it's a bad song, but it's just it's an interesting vibe to that there. So now we've got Sea of Red. We have Sea of Red to close the album. What a closer as well. You have this huge sweeping sort of thing reminding me all the way back to like Sad Wings, reminding me all like that. And I think that's probably how the album I would position it is that it really is taking lots and lots of bits from their entire catalogue and it's all kind of woven into the new thing that they've got, which just makes sense because that's how what a band does. You know, that's just them being Judas Priest, Judas Priest being Judas Priest. There's like 6 or 7 bona fide set classics that are going to be here, like Firepower and Lightning Strike, Evil Never Dies, you know, Spectre, Traitor's Gate. For me, No Surrender. All these will most definitely make it into the sort of the set list of Judas Priest and kind of the sort of hopefully in the world tour you'll see a couple of those as well. Is it any good? Yes, it's fucking amazing. It's an amazing album that's probably going to unfold and reveal more and more the more I listen to it, and more songs I pick out and more things I enjoy from listening to it. It's strong. It's one of the best things they've done for some time, which is what you want to hear if you're a fan. If you're not a fan, it's a great album to start with. It's a great album to start with because it really kind of points to all the directions that the Priest have gone and been. And it's a really nice sort of, we're still relevant, still here, still loves what we can do. Richie's bringing some really nice things into the mix. Rob's writing some of the best stuff he's done for quite some time. And they're going to be explosive live. You know, Sneap on guitar. You know, it's a shame it isn't Glenn, but it's going to be absolutely superb. They're gonna throw everything at this tour. I strongly urge you to see them. Certainly a Bloodstock naturally, which is going to be something of a homecoming. Christ, we've been waiting so long since to play. But I remember talking on a previous podcast to Simon Hall about, like, when are we getting fucking Priest? We need Priest to Bloodstock. It makes so much sense. So yeah, today that was a little bit of fun there. If we kind of go through, I might do that with sort of bigger albums as they come out. I might do, as come out and go through them track by track. Maybe even do a video. Would anybody watch a video of me doing this? Of completely going fucking fanboying or fangirl, if you will, about an album. But this isn't going to leave my car stereo. This Firepower, it just isn't. They're going to give it a solid listening to and find out where I fit it in my kind of pantheon of Judas Priest albums. But hey, what the fuck do I know? One of my favourite albums is Turbo, so I'm that Judas Priest fan, like, you know. But this is strong stuff by Halford and the lads. It's a great album now, really strong. So I strongly urge you to check it out yourself. And all your opinions. Music's subjective. Everybody's got a different opinion. Please, message me on Facebook, on Twitter, check out the website, thespokenmetalshow.com, and tell me what you think. Am I wide off the mark? Is it the worst Judas Priest album? Is it the best Judas Priest album? Is it somewhere in between? What did you like? What songs did you like? What do you think about Sneap's production and Tom's production? What do you think about that? What's your thoughts on it? Please share away, because that's what this is all about. Thanks for listening, and take it easy, guys.